This is coming out on Monday. And it'll have tagging in it, which is one of the things that's been requested for a long time. And it just also happens to be sort of the nascent beginnings of some other cool stuff going on.
Yeah, okay, so
Elin Waring.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. And so tagging, as Andy said, has really been the issue of how do you group together unlike things has been in Joomla for, since the beginning. And we have this great category system which is really flexible and easy to use and extensible, but it's limiting because you can only put each thing into one category, and you're also stuck with either, kind of a shallow list of categories or a very deep tree of categories. So it doesn't, to my mind, the category system is somewhat frustrating for content itself. It's great for certain other things like AC access control, but in terms of how you actually want to organize a website, most of us don't really want to say we only want to have articles over here and we only want to have web links over there, or we only want to have this other extension separate. I always use the example of a school site where, you might want for each classroom to have a contact form and some articles, and maybe another category for posting homework, and a bunch of other things. So we want to be able to group together unlike things, and we want to be able to also put the same thing into multiple groups. So it's been this hugely requested feature for a long time, and finally, this fall, Mark Dexter was like, we have to do this. He's the development coordinator, basically, for the CMS. And so we sat down and at the Joomla World Conference and kind of mapped out a plan for it. And this is what we came up with, is tagging. And it's kind of, there's a lot of tagging systems on different content management systems, like WordPress. It's kind of like what WordPress does, in some ways, kind of not like it in other ways. So I'm just going to show you where it is right now. It'll be coming out on Monday, and I will say that I think this is the first release of it. For sure, we'll be adding more features, probably for 3.2, but also my hope is that a lot of developers, independent developers, will use the tagging system and extend it in really interesting and powerful ways, way before the core ever does that. So they'll write plugins and modules and other things to use tags. And I think we designed it ground up to be able to do that. So to start off with, of course, we do have a basic concept, which is that items will have tags. So just like you see on this homepage, this item has 3 tags attached to it: red, blue, and yellow. And that's the basic concept of tagging, right? You can take any kind of item, slap a tag on it, and then you can go and the power, of course, is that you can then go and say, okay, well, but show me the other yellow stuff. So then you can just click on that button, and it'll take you to everything else that is also tagged with yellow. Very simple concept. And of course, you see right away you can do the multi-tagging. Well, I'll talk about some of the details. I'm going to go over the top level stuff first. So in tags, we have a few different formats that you can present data in. So in Joomla, of course, the menu item is the basic unit of the universe. So I'm just going to go through some of the front-end menu options. Then I'm going to show you how they work, what they look like. Then we'll go to the back end and see how the tags component actually works and how you actually get to apply tags to items. So there's 2 basic menu item types in tags. One shows a list of tags, and one shows a list of tagged items for a given tag. So the first thing is that we have, this is I call all tags simple. This is just a simple list of tags. These are all the tags I currently have in my CMS, my Joomla. And I just decided to do colors, but obviously you can do anything. It's just a simple listing. It has a really nice set of options that you can use that David wrote that take advantage of Bootstrap's flexibility in terms of making columns. And then that just, each of those tags then, of course, would link out to, most of these don't have any content in them, so I have to be careful when I click on. But say, I think blue has some items. You know, it would just automatically take you to that list of tagged items. So that's your first menu link. One of the cool things about the tags list is that you can also, tagging is actually nested, which is kind of unique to Joomla to have nested tags. And so this is a menu, a tags menu item, but it's just using the children of blue. So these are my blue children, which is really, a lot of people were like, why in the world are you doing nesting? But as soon as you see this, you see why, right? If you're running a shop, or if you're running, one of the people in the New York users group was like, well, I run a library website, and we have book recommendation, people who recommend books, and then we have genres. We want to do both. So sometimes I want to show just the book who recommended this book tag, and sometimes I want to just show the book genre tag. So nesting is going to let her do that. So that's and there's other. The next thing is we've already seen the tagged items. So there's two basic formats for tagged items. I don't really have any content in most of these. Or I guess I have it set not to show the descriptions, but actually will show the descriptions. And then there's tagged, there's a compact list of tagged items. So this is more of a traditional list format from Joomla. So the basic default one is more blog style. This one is more of a basic list style. You can just see it's a standard bootstrap list layout. And it has all the same kind of options we have in category lists. So you can filter, you have pagination, you can do all that kind of stuff. So what we tried to do was take the things people were familiar with from Joomla, like the idea of a blog and the idea of a list, and reproduce them inside of tags. The next one I'll show you, you can actually within that, there's an option within that, almost like category, where you can say, just show me the yellow news feeds. So you can actually filter just by type. So if you do want to maintain that separation of type, you are going to have that option in the menu items. You can also, for your list of tagged items, you can do and or. So this is a basic list that shows you everything that is tagged both red and yellow. And this is the one where it's tagged either red or yellow or both. And you have an option to select that in the menu, which kind of match that you want. So those are, I mean, there's, as usual in Joomla, there's probably way too many menu options for usability, but on the other hand, we all want the options that we want, so we kind of tend to make that trade-off of saying give people the options that they want, as opposed to let's have a simpler design that's less flexible. So there's a fair number already of default options that are in there, and I'm sure that over the next few months there will be demand for additional options, and we probably won't resist the demands as much as we should. And I'd just say that there's also two modules right now, and again, I'm sure there'll be many more different types of modules. These are just really simple modules. The first is just popular tags that ranks tags by whatever variable you choose, but usually it's actually the number of items that have been tagged with it. So you can do, this is basically saying red has the most tags. And the thing I like, and I really pushed hard for in that module, is that you can say, only tell me what's been the tag that has been most popular in the last day, or in the last hour, or in the last week. So you don't have that kind of stale popularity. So basically, it's kind of like trending tags. Like you could, if you had a really active website where you really were getting people tagging all the time, you could show, like in the last hour or the last 5 minutes, whatever time unit you want, you could just show what are the most active recent tags, which is kind of cool. The other tag, the other module that we have It has a bad name, and I'm responsible for it. I admit it. So, but this is a module that gives you a list of other items that have a similar tag profile. Okay, so this is similarly tagged items, and you can set it so that they must match. Like if this one has, this item we're on right now has 3, so you could set it and say only show me other items that have all 3 of those. You can set it in a way that says you can show me, so long as they have at least 1, or we give you the option of half. Like they have to share at least half of the tags. So that's also a kind of flexibility that's useful. If you have a lot more content, that all match is going to be a lot more powerful. If you don't have that much content, then any is fine. So but you can always change it. So
is that like a related item?
It's very similar to related items. And it is producing metadata too, by the way. Your tags are going to show up in the metadata, but as tags, not as related items, and or keywords. The related items show up as keywords in your metadata. So tags, it's a similar concept. Well, here's the thing. Tagging means a lot of different things to different people. Some people it means related items. Some people want to use tags as a kind of top-down organizational tool, where you're really tightly, as a site administrator, tightly managing the tags that are there and who can use them. And then other people want to have a more bottom-up tagging tool where people are just tagging your content all the time, and it's very interactive and similar to a lot of WordPress sites, actually. Like, if you go to like Stack Overflow, which is a good website for people who want to ask questions and get answers to questions, they use WordPress and they use tagging extensively, and if you have a little bit of time on the site, then you get the right to tag items. And so it's a very bottom-up thing where people can add tags, at will, add an additional tag to item, and then when people are searching, they say, I want to search, the PHP tag, and so everything, with the PHP tag, if you click PHP, it comes up with a list of PHP items. So we built this so you could go either way. You can strictly manage it from the back end, or you can make it this more bottom-up kind of system. So, and people can, and you can also decide, are you going to let people create, and part of that is you can decide, are you going to let people create tags or not? Let me show you, 5 minutes, I can't believe it. Let me just show you this. So actually the best part is adding tags. So all your core content now has these tag fields. The front end editors also has a tag field. Pretty much in the back end is always on the lower right, on the sidebar, and you can add tags. You just in the editor you just put in the name of the tag. So I'm going to have, let's say I want to have Azure as a tag, and it'll pop up like that. And it just shows you the nesting structure, but we don't show the front end users and the rendering the nesting structure, but we show the people doing the tagging, the nesting structure, which is helpful. So it just pops up for you. Or actually, if a color didn't exist, like if I say I want, I don't know, Kelly for green, you can just add it and it'll add that tag for you right there in the UI. So that's kind of neat. And you can also, when you first are setting up tagging, we do have badge tagging in all the administrators. So if I want to tag a lot of items at once, I'm just go to badge. You can only add 1 tag at a time with that if I want to make them all periwinkle. Why is it not going? Oh, it's thinking really hard. Maybe I'm just tagging 2 things at once. Anyway, so it'll let you batch tag, which I think, Mark and I were talking about this yesterday, that I think mainly people use batch tagging, like when you first are setting up your site with tagging, you might have a lot of old content that you want to bring into the tag system. So that's kind of, that'll probably be the main use, or if you are doing back-end organizing of tags. The other thing is that we do have a tag component, which is just like a regular content component, and you can edit, you can create tags here. You don't have to create tags through the field. You can come here and create tags. If you do it here, you have a lot more options. So here is where you can put a tag description. You can put a tag access level. You can put, change the publication state. You can put a parent item. When you're doing it on the fly there to create a new tag, you can't parent it or nest it or anything like that. You wouldn't really want that in that context. But over here, as a back-end manager, you can do those things. So it's pretty, this is very, very powerful, especially if you want to have that back kind of structured, really structured tagging. You can add images. It basically is like an article. It's basically a tag itself is a piece of content like an article. Yeah.
How do you categorize them? Can you?
Tags?
Yeah.
You make a tag and nest it. So in the end, I want to have tagging of tags because I think that would be awesome.
So parent. Keep going. Yeah.
Yeah, but the parent-child thing, like almost any problem that I've had so far with tagging, not problem exactly, but like, for example, the language people were like, oh, how is this going to work with language? And one easy solution with language is to just say, each language has its own top-level tag and then nest the language tags underneath it. And then you can do all kinds of filtering and so on.
It's not as apparent with this set of sample content, but my question is, from a display perspective, I click on red and I have 15 articles. Do I have the option of it either being, I think what you're saying is that this is going to show up where I'm going to have the name of whatever that article is and then the description for maybe the tag or nested. Will it show up like in a blog format versus a list
It's
format?
got all the same kind of options, show body, and body meaning article text or the description in a web link or the description in a category. Whatever term is used in a different component, it's all kind of mapped to body. And you can show the author, and basically all that standard data is available. So actually, even if we don't have an option for it, you could override to put in an option.
I was just going to say that we've been mostly looking at articles here, but you said you can also attach it to.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, you saw some of my parks web links, right? Were up here. But for example, also you even have the option here with like this blue. I think I have to show you blue. Tags. So here, this is text that's inside of. This is actually I added in the menu, this image and this text, but you could also add this to the blue tag itself. So I could have instead over here and in the blue tag, just like a regular article. I can do all the same things. You even have your two images, but not the links. But we could add those. I know that people are dying for those links. But the reason you have a teaser image and a full image, you might wonder in tags, why do that? Well, when you have a list of tags, so it's many, many tags on one page, that's when you're going to use the teaser image. And when you have tagged items, so it's like the blue tag and all the items, that's when you're going to use the full image. Yes?
This can be used from the front end, right?
You can add tags on the front end?
Yes.
Yes. Any editor. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I've done several different systems with tags, and I don't understand if you have a group of people who are writing, how they can type things in, but if they don't already know what all the available tags are.
Well, what they do is they search. So this is how most advanced tagging systems work. So say I'm writing a new article and I think, oh, I want to put you know, weather as my tag. Well, I start in the tag field there. It's on the front end. So I'm on the front end, and I'm going to edit an article. I'm sorry, Wendy. Good job. Oh, I'm not even logged in on the front end either, so So I'm editing my article on the front end, and I would say, started, edit, and this works because David is the man. This was our last bug that we had to fix. We suddenly had a breakage in front end tagging, but so they can just add and say, I think, oh, weather would be a good tag for this. And if it doesn't come up in the pop-up list, that means it's not there. Now you can, I don't think we have it configurable yet, but we should. Where the tag field itself, if you're using it in your own work, you can turn it in the XML, you can turn it on or off, whether it allows people to create new tags. So you can make it so they're restricted to just the existing tags, or you can make it so that they can add new tags, which is really helpful. Because some people, like I said, some people want to have that top-down control of the tags, so they're going to turn that off. Other people want to have on-the-fly creation, they're going to turn it off.
Okay, our next session is due to start in about 3 minutes. 2 minutes. I hate to break Elin on.
Thank you, Elin.